Welcome to our new EarnBIT AMA. Today we'll talk about the events that moved us forward this February. So this is our 10th AMA video. That's a media milestone. It's even something to celebrate. Besides, there was an amazing month for Bitcoin and there is plenty of exciting plans for the future. So let's get started. And first I will say a few words about their service launched very recently. In fact, just a week. So the staking pools on EarnBIT, the core of their Earn program, are live. Today there is a pool for Ether and a pool for Solana. And of course, we'll add more cryptos later on. So staking brings a passive income because it supports the security of popular blockchains. So those proof of stake networks with validators instead of Bitcoin miners. They get rewards for this work, but it's hard for individual users to become validators because of their requirements. So for example, on Ethereum, you must contribute 32 Ethers, that is over $100,000 right now. Naturally, only high net worth individuals can afford that. So it is also quite difficult to run a node because of their technical aspects. You need the right hardware, software, and knowledge. And that's why we have staking pools. When users join efforts, they can unlock those validator rewards. So the more tokens you commit, the more you get in return. On EarnBIT, you can deposit up to 500 tokens of each cryptocurrency for daily profit. We manage the staking process and deliver those rewards because based on your contribution. So EarnBIT Earn is another important element of our cryptocurrency ecosystem. There are many more steps on our roadmap, and 2024 is a huge year in this regard. So to sum up, we've added a new way to manage your crypto on EarnBIT. Not just hold, trade, or exchange tokens with us, but also earn by supporting the security of two major blockchains. So now let's turn to the questions. As usual, I will start with platform updates and then switch to market insights. I got to say we have many more questions about the market as the situation is so exciting. And all those questions were received through our social media. So quick reminder, you can follow us on multiple platforms, including X, also Telegram, LinkedIn, Discord, and Medium. Now let's jump to the question. So what's coming after SHIB? Will you list DOT or PEPE, etc.? That's a good question. There are many similar questions about listings. We have plenty of news to share, but I'm not commenting on future plans as usual, just their agreed listings. This week we have added True USD, a popular stablecoin linked to their US dollar. Right now we have stablecoin pairs with USDT, and you can also find Tether Gold and Tether Euro on our exchange. So True USD is an alternative for those who need a dollar stablecoin. There are also a few things that make it unique. First, it is their first stablecoin with a daily attestation of underlying reserves. It is generally known for transparency and trust. Well, billions of dollars worth of TUSD are traded daily. So with this listing, we expand the range of popular stablecoins on our platform, which is surely a big plus. Now you have more opportunities to convert your crypto. Another crypto we're listing is SKL or Scale. It is their token on Ethereum scaling project. It is also special because it is passionate as their fastest blockchain in the world. There are over 20.5 million SKL wallets now, and it supports a wide choice of experiences, including games, NFTs, and Web3 applications. So you can read more about it in our listing announcements on social media. In terms of value, the token has made some great strides this year, but that's not all. You can now find 5 more trading pairs with either new options, include Solana, Ripple, Tron, Chainlink, and even Cardano. So as you see, we're accelerating. 2 new listings, 5 new pairs, staking, and more to come soon. And with that said, let's turn to the next question. Here we go. Did you have any technical issues when Coinbase crashed? Well, that was a high-profile case with Coinbase. So when Bitcoin hit 60,000 and went higher, of course, the demand skyrocketed. A lot of people were trying to log into crypto platforms and make transactions. And yes, we saw a hike in traffic and activity. However, this didn't affect our operations, and I'm glad to say that everything ran smoothly and hassle-free, and still runs. So I cannot really comment on other exchanges, but I can imagine how their users felt. Seeing your balance turn to zero is something that gives you a heart attack, but fortunately their team got to work and resolved the problem quite fast. However, the moral damage, of course, is significant. This is a nightmare for any CEO. And time for, I guess, next question right now. What's your next team event? First of all, thanks for asking. I'd like to remind everyone about token 2049 in Dubai. Our team is going to be there on April 18th and 19th this year. So if you'd like to meet up in real life, share experience, network, or discuss some collaborations, feel free to reach out. You can contact us on social media, for example, in our Telegram chat, so we can arrange a meeting. All the links are in our social media posts. Token 2049 is one of the biggest crypto events. It is a global hub for Web3 professionals, for investors, for developers, for insiders, and of course, media. So the networking opportunities are really vast. We're looking forward to that. Right, yeah, and by the way, speaking of collaborations, another thing is partnerships. So let's recap our effort in this direction in February. This work never stops. For example, we struck up collaboration between EarnBIT and Redcurry. It is a very special cryptocurrency and it is committed to innovation. We share that drive. The tokens are linked to commercial real estate and programmed to outperform euro inflation. And it's another example of traditional finance and crypto finance coming together. You get an asset that is highly scalable, secure, accessible, without centralized control, and not so volatile because it is backed by real estate. All right, now we can turn attention to crypto markets, which has been rising lately. Here we go. How do you assess Bitcoin's performance in February? Well, what can I say? February was incredible. Bitcoin returned to 60,000 US dollars and continued growing. The main drivers were surely sports ETFs that only started trading in January. Exchange traded funds attracted a lot of capital, and that demand came mainly from retail traders, financial advisors, and hedge funds. For example, BlackRock's ETFs attracted over $600 million in one day. In the first half of the month, we saw the traditional Chinese New Year pattern. Bitcoin generally rises during the week of their spring festival in China and afterwards. So this time, the week lasted between February 10th and 17th. On February 19th, the coin was trading above $52,000, and that was quite interesting, as at the same time some indicators were quite negative. The US dollar index got stronger and there were higher yields on treasury bonds. We know that historically Bitcoin has a negative correlation with those drivers because what is good for the US dollar is bad for risk assets. So what actually happened? I think this year the energy from sports Bitcoin ETFs was just too strong. So it's overpowered macro. As I remember, ETFs already had over $5 billion of inflows, and next everyone was and it is anticipating the halving. It is traditionally seen in a bullish light, so that excitement plays a big role. And speaking of halvings, here is another question from you, our users. How will Bitcoin halving affect Bitcoin and EarnBIT? Well, as for EarnBIT, naturally we are happy to see higher demand for Bitcoin and crypto in general. And paradoxically, the more expensive it is, the more popular. That is a strange effect that works in luxury markets. Traditionally, as products become more expensive, the demand goes down. But not for vintage wine or Rolex. And something similar happens with Bitcoin. For years, researchers have seen that correlation. It has a name, their Veblen effects. I think we have an article on that in our Medium library. So the more expensive Bitcoin, the better for crypto businesses, obviously. We are yet to see how exactly this halving will affect it. On the one hand, it must be priced in already because everyone knows that halving is happening. On the other hand, there are many other factors that will drive the markets in the coming months. So halving itself will happen in April, so there is less than 2 months left. In terms of price, you can check out our guide to Bitcoin halving 2024. We've summarized common observations. For example, rallies typically last around 480 days on average based on their previous circles. In February, analysts saw many signs of growth, technical and fundamental. Predictions vary. So generally, there's very optimistic around 150k to 200k in 2025. And one comment which I think is important is that 2024 is their election year in the United States. That means the government is not that likely to introduce laws hurting crypto. For example, in recent weeks, we saw some articles on their environmental problems of US mining sites. Even the New York Times shared this information in a huge story. It really is a problem, of course, because of noise, pollution, and carbon footprint. Now miners in the USA must report their energy use, but it's hard to imagine any strong measures this year. Personally, I cannot really make any projection right now. I'm not the position to give financial advice, but please keep track of our monthly market overviews. They show what our analytical team expects. We post those articles on Medium and across our social media. And here comes one more question regarding market. All right, so what indicators does your team use to analyze Bitcoin circles? Okay, so now we have a kind of technical question. I'm not a market analyst, but I can mention a few. To analyze Bitcoin long term, one tool is abbreviation MVRV. It compares market value to release value, so we take this spot price and compare it to the release price. And it's easy to see when the coin is undervalued or overvalued. And I guess the main takeaway here is that the peaks, their fluctuations become less intense over time. You can easily see that the volatility of the market is getting softer. Yeah, it is mattering. That means we may see more gradual movements than extreme swings. Another thing is the power law corridor. That is a different indicator. Its purpose is to see if Bitcoin is undersold or oversold. It is formed by 3 lines and they let you see when growth is expected. And if you look at the graph, basically the historical movement upwards is impressive. Finally, there is NLB, or Bitcoin's never look back price. It shows the last time it was at a certain price level. That's where it went up and never retraced. This gives you a floor value for the long term, and those are some of the mainly indicators out there. And if you're interested in Bitcoin circles, check out our guide to Bitcoin halvings. Alright, I guess that's too much about Bitcoin, which is not the only cryptocurrency. Moving on to Ether. Okay, well, yeah, Ether to 5K. Okay, so now to the second biggest cryptocurrency. Ether has its own driver. That's not a halving, but a new update in mid-March. And it's actually a big deal because Dencoin will make their network more efficient, more scalable, and more secure. And most importantly, it will bring down the gas fees. Now they are still quite high. Everyone knows that. So in the recent weeks, we've seen the Ether price rise on this anticipation. Clearly, it is not just following Bitcoin, but advancing on its own fundamentals. In terms of prices, as you know, I never give an exact estimate or timelines. Reading the media, you can see predictions of like 4.5K because that's the previous peak price. That is the price we saw in 2021. This year, the coin could rise higher to 5K and beyond, but right now it's all just speculation. What we do know is there are fundamentals behind this rally. Secondly, there is a lot of speculation about possible spot ETFs. They get less attention because there is less demand compared to Bitcoin. But it is still a major event if approval happens. Now, in terms of comparison, there are a few things to note. Ethereum has way more use cases than Bitcoin. BTC is a replacement for fiat. It is the decentralized money that works without banks or governments. Ethereum does the same, but it also provides smart contracts. It supports self-executing agreements and countless decentralized application based on this technology. But I don't think it matters much to the average retail investor. After all, the point of ETFs is to invest without direct ownership. So ETFs will also make Ether more accessible, but maybe the reasons are less compelling. Staking is also not so attractive to the average investor because the yield is lower than for dividend ETFs or money market funds. And one other thing, staking can make the launch controversial. Why? Because it is similar to interest or dividend on securities in a way. However, ETFs with staking are already available in Canada. So far, 8 companies have filled applications with their CEC. And in May, we may see approval for Van Eyck and ARC21 shares. Like with Bitcoin ETFs, the SEC may approve a bunch of applications at once. Yeah, so that's it. And now some words about the news that will come sooner. What do you think are the most interesting crypto events in March? Well, there's a lot to look forward to. First, new inflows into spot Bitcoin ETFs. Secondly, the Ethereum update that I talked about. Thirdly, we'll see the sentencing of SBF. He's facing 115 years in prison. His lawyers are now trying to reduce their sentence by citing mental health issues. So let's see if they succeed. The sentencing will happen on March 28th. Next, we may see new taxation guidelines from their internal revenue service in the US. So there could be more procedures and more information for digital assets reporting. And those are just the things I can think of right now off the top of my head. Right, yeah, and I guess that was a final question. So thanks a lot for watching and stay tuned. Our next AMA video will come in early April after the Ethereum upgrades and their SPF trail. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss. In the meantime, feel free to explore our new staking service and listed assets and tell us what you think. If you have questions you'd like me to answer, you can use any of our social media platforms. So take care everyone, and see you next month. Goodbye.